Hey guys, Papa Pete back with part 3 of the great big game room tour at John Mahoney's Game Room here in New Brunswick, Canada, as well as the pickup video, the games that I got from him back last month for my Xbox collection. So many great games I got from him, and so many fantastic things still to see in his collection. So without any further ado, shh, don't wake up Coco. We'll be right back.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
Alright guys, back for part 3 of the video, and of course we're going to start this up with another craft brew. And this one today, from Flying Boats Brewery, is Flying Sasquatch. Doesn't get any better than that. Flying Sasquatch True North Pale Ale. 5.3% alcohol, I think it was. Anyway, let's take a look at her. I've never had this one. Again, nice golden color. Nice foamy beer. Semi-clear pale ale. I like pale ales. They tend to be a little bit different than what I remember pale ales when I was younger. But now with the craft brew, pale ale is one of my absolute favorite. Great aroma. Not a bad flavor. I don't mind that too much. It's a little bit bitter. Not bitter like an IPA, but more bitter than maybe I like a lot of my pale ales. But still, not too bad at all. It's not my favorite beer that I've ever had, but you know, if somebody offered me one, I'd definitely have one, that's for sure. So, Flying Sasquatch True North Pale Ale from Flying Boats in Dieppe, New Brunswick. Alright, so let's look at the pickups. I started off the last pickup video with one of these as well. It was the Outlaw series. I was Outlaw Volleyball last time, and it's Outlaw Golf this time. Same type of thing, just an arcadey type of golf game with different types of characters in it, and I don't know, fighting and battling and stuff. But really, it's supposed to be just a lot of fun, and everything I've heard, well, they certainly made enough of them, is that these are fun games to play. And again, they're ones that you'll see in a lot of pawn shops and stuff, but man, they're always in hard shape. And this one is in absolutely fantastic shape. So, first game, this video, Outlaw Golf. So as for the next one, you don't see too many of these anymore. They don't make them anymore, but it's Ncaa March Madness 2005 by EA Sports. This game's not worth an incredible amount of money, but these were always fun games to play back in the day when they started releasing the college basketball games. Of course, March Madness is absolutely massive. I'm not a huge fan myself because I'm not a huge basketball fan myself. I'd rather play it, but I do enjoy some of the games. I really do. I liked them back on the Genesis, Bulls versus Lakers and Blazers versus Lakers, stuff like that. But anyway, one thing I do note about these is again, they're not easy to find in good shape. They're not easy to find with the original case, but this one does have the original reflective sticker down at the bottom with the licensing on it. So I always like it when I find these sports games, even though they're not worth a whole lot. It's neat when they do have that sticker, and you know it's the original case that came with. So Ncaa March Madness 2005, Yukon on the front. Right on. Next up is a World War II warfare game that is really common. Medal of Honor Frontline. These were fantastic games, first-person shooters back in the day. I think I have this in my Platinum Hits collection, but for whatever reason didn't have it for the regular collection. Rather interesting, really. They're quite easy to find, but not always. Again, I've said many times, in this type of condition, like I got from John. But all in all, they're very fun games to play, whether it's the Medal of Honor series or the Call of Duty series or any of the other series out back at the time. There are so many of these warfare games, it's hard to differentiate between them all, to be quite honest. But you have to have them for your collection, and this is a perfect one to have in that collection. Here's a game that's based upon a movie. It is a second one, actually, because there was one titled just The Incredibles, but this one is The Incredibles Rise of the Underminer. Great kids adventure platformer game. They're all very well made. I enjoy these games. They're not going to be groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination, but they're still a lot of fun to play for kids and adults alike. And this particular one, I've not really seen many copies of this around, is in perfect condition. As always, done by THQ, hit or miss there in my opinion. I've seen some great THQ games, and I've seen some dogs to tell you the truth. But overall, great condition. Very happy to add The Incredibles, Rise of the Underminer to my collection, and I love the movie. Alright, it's time to go back to the basement at John Mahoney's house to look at some more of his collection. Here we go. GameCube. Let's talk about this. To me, this is the hottest system going right now.
I couldn't believe the prices on a lot of that stuff. Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness in particular. All the Pokemon stuff seems pretty crazy. Yeah. I don't have anywhere near a complete GameCube set. I love the system. Yeah. But I've always struggled to find GameCube games in good condition. I'm super picky. And yeah, this is probably only about maybe 30%, maybe half tops. I don't know the count right off, but
okay, yeah.
I have a lot of the high end games. Gotcha Force, Hyper Grind, even stuff like Chibi Robo is quite expensive. Yep. The Disney sports games are hot and expensive. I only have football, soccer, and basketball is the most expensive one. Okay. A lot of cool under the radar indie releases though. Cubivore is actually a pretty fantastic little sim evolution game. Yeah. Gotcha.
Atlas Games.
A lot of fun. Yeah. So
I always say you see Atlas Games, you get quality. It's sort of always
they've always made good stuff.
I like your Mario team right here.
Yes, huh? I was a teenager when the GameCube was out, and I played a lot of Super Smash Bros. Melee. Yeah. A little aside, there's a mini game in there called Home Run Contest. Basically, you have 10 seconds to kick a sandbag as far as you can, and I spent like thousands of hours. I was actually competitive ranked. I have the third highest total high score in Canada, 9th in the world in home run contests.
Really?
Smash Bros. Melee, yeah. I had a couple old record ties in there.
Right on. Strikers. Like 64-bit. He always wants a copy of Strikers. I think he found it.
Fantastic multiplayer game. Whenever I have a friend over and we're playing GameCube, Strikers. Baseball's pretty good too.
Right. And of course, Buddy Dan, Rebel Gaming Club. He's got the complete GameCube set up, right? The whole setup. I think we've looked at almost all of his Nintendo stuff now, so we're looking at some of the other stuff. But believe me, there's still a lot of stuff to look at. Not only, I guess there's more Nintendo because there's some handhelds too, but overall, man, it's just so phenomenal to look at all the stuff he has. Here's a game series which started off a whole genre. It was really the Tony Hawk series that started the wave of games that were like snowboarding games and skateboarding games, and I said Matt Hoffman's BMX 2 earlier in the pickup video a couple episodes ago. And in this case, I got Tony Hawk's Project 8, which is a really, frankly, highly rated game, and I also got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. There's just so many of these out there, you have to collect them all, and well, you know what?
What?
They're a lot of fun to play. People love playing them. So, man, I'm really happy to have them. And this is a former rental. Other than the marker on it, man, they're in great condition. This one doesn't have anything on it. It's just like brand new, like the day the person bought it. So, Activision games, Tony Hawk's Project 8, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Man, it doesn't get any better than adding those to your collection. Now, if I had been thinking, I would have done Outlaw Golf now, not at the very beginning of my video, because the next game I have in my collection is Seablade, which is, it's a search, rescue, and destroy in the air and under the sea type fighting game where you're driving a plane-like mech thing. I don't know. But the reason I say that is that I've had this game for quite a while, but only as part of a double pack where it was included with Outlaw Golf as well as Seablade in the same package. And it's kind of interesting that here I am, and now I've picked up Outlaw Golf alone and Seablade alone. When I actually already had both of the games before. I just didn't have these particular versions. So, really interesting. I've never seen it. I've seen that double pack 100 times, I swear, but I've never seen the solo Seablade game. So, again, just like new. Really neat to add to the collection. It's a really cool looking cover art there, too. Before we go any further, let's go back and take another look at the collection. That game room tour from John Mahoney is absolutely fantastic. What are we going to see next? Here we go. And then next to it, you get a little bit of this on the screen, and it's going to move over here, is the Wii. And the Wii is a different animal, though, isn't it?
It is. You get a lot of shovelware, a lot of filler on Wii. At one point, I was considering going for them all, but I decided that, it's just too much. And You know, too much shovelware to collect, and with disc rod, it's a little bit different collecting something like Game Boy Advance, which I am going for a full setup. You know, their cartridges. And it wasn't really my era. I was in university at the time, didn't really have a lot of time for gaming when the Wii was out. So I played, you know, some of them. I played Metroid Prime 3, and you know, me and my girlfriend at the time played the Mario parties.
Sure.
Donkey Kong Country Returns is actually really good.
Yeah, I had that one.
But I missed out on a lot of the smaller releases on Wii. Got back into it with the Wii U though. I was one of the.
Don't know how much this is going to be in the screen. We'll take some shots of the Wii U collection, but this is a complete Wii U collection as well, right?
Only 150 some games. But I was just finished university when the Wii was out, or Wii U was out. So I picked one up, and I went pretty hard at it for a while. I played Splatoon pretty competitively.
Right.
A lot of actually good, Mario 3D World's amazing game.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8, although it's on the Switch now, but it's basically it's the same game that was on Wii U. Amazing game.
Yeah.
Doesn't get enough love. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the values and the collectability.
What's some of the hottest games in the Wii U collection right now? I'm not that familiar with it.
This is the most expensive one. It's called Devil's Third. This is a game that was kind of had troubled development. It was in development hell for quite a long time, and Nintendo actually published it and got it out. Exclusive game. This is actually sealed. I've heard this is over like $600.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so this is.
And I also noticed it's an M-rated game now. There weren't very many M-rated games, like a lower percentage compared to other systems on the Wii for sure. Is the Wii U about the same?
Yeah, all of the games are probably E and T at most. There's a half dozen Skylanders games, Just Dance games, Lego games, and nothing against those. I actually really enjoy a lot of the Lego games.
I love them.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I played through Avengers, for example, and Harry Potter, and they're actually.
I was looking at that last night. It's on sale in the eShop right now for the Switch. The Marvel Avengers 2 complete set or whatever like that, $15. How do you beat that, right?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Man, you gotta love those games. It's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? But for now, let's go back to the Xbox collection and the games I picked out. Here's one Street Ball, which is an arcade-style basketball game, street basketball game by Ubisoft. It's a fairly highly rated game, actually, and one that's sort of hard to find. Again, I've said 1,000 times, in good condition, but this one is in excellent condition. So I was really happy to add Street Ball. Arcade, yeah, sort of like along the lines of NBA Ballers or NBA Jam even, but set in the streets and not really at all a simulation type basketball game. I like them that way. I really do like that. I won't say better, but there's different moods where I want to play the arcade, and there's different moods where I want to play the simulations. So anyway, really happy to have it. The next game's from the Fallout series, and it's one of the games that's kind of expensive on the system that I had left to get, and it's Fallout Brotherhood of Steel by Interplay. And I'm not a super familiar with the Fallout franchise. I've played a few of the games. I had never really seen much about this one. It's a 3D action, sort of not platform, but 3D action mystery game that you're trying to work your way through post-apocalyptic universe. And I don't know, what more can I say? There's lots of different games of this genre, but Fallout has become a really big franchise that continues right up till today. So even though this one didn't have the manual with it, I saw the opportunity to get this in excellent condition. I'll pick up the manual sometime, I'm sure. And anyway, in the meantime, very happy to finally have Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. Okay, so Pokemon we know is a huge thing, but there are no Pokemon games on the Xbox. They're strictly Nintendo, pretty much, right? So for the Xbox, we had Digimon. And Digimon, I was never into Pokemon nor Digimon, but you can't neglect or can't deny the collectability of things like this. And this is actually a fairly difficult game to get. So I'm very happy to add this to my collection in actually pristine condition. It's quite a manual too. Man, that manual is thick. But I mean, collect them all. It's not Pokemon, it's Digimon. Really happy to add it to my collection in any case. Digimon World 4 by Bandai. And next we have a game. It's another 3D, third-person action game, action-adventure type game. It's gotten to become really popular, called Time Splitters Future Perfect. live online enabled, I'm sure it was, by Electronic Arts. Say what you want about Electronic Arts, a lot of their products are really good. This is when they're still in development, as opposed to, it seems to me lately, the last 6-7 years, they've been sort of really negative company, getting loot boxes, and I don't know, there's just, Electronic Arts is a greedy company. Back at this point, I don't think it had reached that yet, but it was starting on its way, frankly. Much different than the Electronic Arts and the EA Sports that used to be one of my absolute favorites of the 90s. But anyway, I digress a little bit. Time Splitters, it's, I think, the second Time Splitters game on the system. This particular one is in fantastic condition. And I believe it's a fairly highly rated game, and it's one that's really increased in price a lot over the last 6 months to a year. So, very happy to add Time Splitters, future perfect, to my collection. So let's go back to John Mahoney's basement to take another look at stuff in his collection, because, man, there's just so much to see, and there's still more to come. Here we go.
So we're into some weird stuff now. I had a real interesting kind of fetish with underappreciated systems when I first started.
Right.
So when I first started, I wanted all the weird stuff I never seen when I was a kid. So I went hard. I bought a CDI collection, a 3DO collection, a Jaguar collection, a Neo Geo collection.
This is when? This is the 90s or 2000s?
This would have been 2008, 2010. And one of those things that I happened to buy around that time was a $65 TurboGrafx, and it came with about a dozen games.
Wow. Yep.
And like Blazing Lasers and Bonks, and I loved those games. Like I had never heard of a TurboGrafx until that point. I didn't see it in stores or anything. But I was kind of blown away. It felt like playing a Super Nintendo. Not quite, but it gave me some of the same feelings of playing a Super Nintendo.
Gotcha.
And so I loved the system. So over the next couple of years after that, through like 2012, 2013, I chipped away. There was only 94 games on the system, so I chipped away at probably a lot of them. I got up to maybe 75 games or so. Mm-hmm. And then graduated school, and I didn't think I would ever really get the expensive ones, but what really turned me was I just happened to pick up Legend of Hero Tonma and Bomberman 93 and a couple of the other late released more expensive ones. Fairly cheap actually, in Quispam Sis.
Really?
And I spammed the guy's email probably to get it, and I showed up way early in the morning, and I think he probably priced them at the Japanese prices instead of the North American prices.
Understood.
So I got a really good deal on those, and then I was just missing Magical Chase, which obviously is the super duper heavy game for the system. And
for the system or for any system.
Yeah,
really,
right? and I decided to kind of save up my pennies and pull the trigger. I sold some extra stuff that I had around.
So that's right in here.
Yeah, that's right in here. Magical Chase. That's actually my most valuable piece now for sure. I paid pretty top dollar for it at the time. Came complete with the manual and everything. The crazy part about that story is a couple years afterwards, this would have been 2018, someone replied to one of my old want-to-buy video game ads, and they had a TurboGrafx, and a TurboGrafx CD even, and a little stack of cards. I couldn't see what all the cards were, but I wanted the TurboGrafx CD attachment. Right. And anyway, I get there, and I get the system and everything loaded, and I get to the card, and there was a Magical Chase card
within the card in there. Wow.
And I paid like $500 mostly for the CD attachment, because I really wanted it for myself, and I couldn't believe it. So I actually had 2 of these for a little while. That's
amazing. And then it's little finds like that help you boost your collection.
Exactly, because I ended up trading it for some other games I needed, and just fill in the gaps.
That's amazing.
I did end up selling all my TurboGrafx CDs. I was missing a couple of them that were $5,000, and I just decided that I wasn't the type of person to kind of go for those. Yeah. So.
But that's amazing, because you don't see too many of those. There's a lot of people who love this system.
Yeah, I love it.
But they get into it so late, and then it was so expensive at the time, and then now it's even more so.
Yeah, so I really lucked out getting it when I did. It's one of my favorite complete sets, for sure.
And I noticed this one over here, which is another system, which I can remember when it came out, because I was a big Sega person. I had a Genesis back in the day. I on the mailing list, got the videotape advertising the new Sega Saturn coming out, and of course it kind of flopped here in North America.
Sony
but it's huge in Japan.
Yeah.
And this is the largest amount of Sega Saturn games I think that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm missing about 50. There was about, I think, just under 300, and I'm missing about 50 of them. Again, I wanted all the systems that I didn't have when I was a kid, so I bought a Saturn and some games in 2008, 2009.
Wow.
Panzer Dragoon Saga, for example, I think I paid $200 or $300 for that, and I bought all the RPGs at that point because I loved RPGs. And I've just been filling in over the years. I've never really just said to myself, I want to collect the whole thing, but it's accumulated, and it's
just sort of happened.
Yeah, it's kind of at the point where I might as well finish it out, you think? I don't know.
Right on. That's amazing.
I can't wait to see what we have for episode 4, for part 4 of this series, because I think some of the most amazing things are yet to come in John's collection, and it's going to be pretty amazing, really, isn't it? Anyway, here we go. The next game is another Sega game, and that's Super Monkey Ball Deluxe. A kind of a strange type. Is it for kids? Is it for adults? It doesn't really matter. It's just a really fun game to play. It's really quite a fairly expensive game, and very happy to add this one to my collection because it's in such great shape. Again, just a platforming type game with a different type of premise. Really, kind of unusual. There's no other way to put it. Super Monkey Ball Deluxe. Amazing thing to add, I'll tell you that. Very happy to have that one for my collection. And finally, the last game for this video is one we're all familiar with this series, SNK and the Neo Geo and the Metal Slug series. And here is Metal Slug 3. I had the Metal Slug 4 and 5 disc. I had it several years ago. I got it down to Too Many Games. And now finally I have Metal Slug 3. This one is more difficult to get than the 4 and 5. This one's worth more than the 4 and 5. I don't know necessarily that it's a better game. It doesn't really make much sense that it would be. But at the end of the day, all the Metal Slug games are cartoony, fun, action-adventure games. Like, they're arcadey, really. Not adventure as much as arcadey. At the end of the day, I'm very happy to add Metal Slug 3 to my collection, because it was one of the games at the very top of my most wanted list. Right on. Metal Slug 3 by SNK. Well, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for joining Coco and I. I think Coco finally woke up and has had enough, huh? And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to stop back for part 4, because there's still some amazing things to see in John's collection, that game room tour, and I have the best pickups are yet to come. Anyway, guys, take care. We'll see you next time. Right, Coco?
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50.
Hey guys, Russ Lyman here, and you're watching Papa Pete, the old guy gamer.
What?